What's going on YouTube? It is Repulse back in another video. In today's video, we have another Chelsea news video. Again, to reiterate, this is our recap from the last 3 days. Not too much news that has surrounded individual on days, but to gather it up all three into one makes it a good chronological video. Yeah, I think enough to talk about finally, so we can jump in and begin with the topic that we've talked about for forever, but now we have a potential way to get Xavi Simons. And Ed Aaron says that Chelsea are in talks for a deal which would involve Nkunku going the other way for Xavi Simons. It is understood Leipzig would like to re-sign Nkunku. Um, yeah, I think this is a perfect deal for both sides. Obviously, Nkunku is very good at Leipzig. Only caveat there would be they don't have European football headed into next season, so it's unclear whether or not Nkunku would want to head over there. Obviously, we know Xavi Simons is keen on the move to Chelsea. Um, so yeah, we'll see what Nkunku's opinion is on that, but I do think it'd be a good move for him to you know, like a reinvestment on his career. I think he can go back himself to score the goals he did at Leipzig previous to joining Chelsea, and then find a big move this season after that because he is 26, turning 27 or 27 already. But I do definitely think he does have a big move to another club. Uh, in the way or in the works. I just think he might need a season to kick on, and I think Leipzig could definitely do that for him and open up those opportunities for him to move to a big club and get a big move after being at Leipzig for a year. So, we'll see how Nkunku views that, but I do think that could be a good move for him. Obviously, y'all know I want Xavi Simons through the door so badly, but I'm willing to be patient because the directors have shown great business, as well as great patience throughout the window to get the price we want for the players that we want. So I expect Xavi Simons to become a Chelsea player at some point throughout the window. Yeah, we'll wait and see whether or not he does, but I do fully expect that to happen. I don't think anyone should really panic. I think it's just standard negotiation. Leipzig playing hardball, and every opportunity being discussed. But yeah, it seems like Nkunku could go the other way, so it's just dependent on what the player thinks. And then the Telegraph also said the same thing that Red Bull Leipzig want to sign Nkunku. And I put this with the swap deal because it is important to know that Xavi Simons would be coming the other way if Nkunku does head over there. But again, yet to be seen what Nkunku really prioritizes or what he really wants. Maybe he just wants European football and that's it. And Leipzig do not offer that, so he doesn't head over there. Or he could see that as a way to reinvest in his career and find a big move later on. After he kicks on back at Leipzig. Um, Talking about Simmons, but also Garnacho. Nisar Kinsella said that the signings of Siemens and Garnacho depend on attacking duo Nicholas Jackson and Christopher Nkunku leaving. We know Jackson's linked with the move away. He's already told the club he wants to move. So we'll see how much we're able to sell him for. But bridge is definitely burnt. Jackson is not going to be a Chelsea player headed into the January transfer window or even the summer transfer window. I think he gets sold sometime pretty soon. And I think a lot of outgoings, incomings are going to happen within this next week before Palace. And then Christopher Nkunku, I think, could happen with that swap deal with Xavi Simons. So, we'll see how the Jackson deal progresses. Obviously, the Nkunku deal, I think it's in tandem with the Xavi Simons deal because I do expect Nkunku to be open to heading or to head to RB Leipzig, which would mean Xavi Simons comes the other way, and then Garnacho I think is something we'll look at later in the window. But it is interesting to see that it's 2 out, 2 in. More Fabrizio Romano said that negotiations between Chelsea and RB Leipzig for Xavi Simons would continue. Chelsea want Nkunku and Jackson to leave in order to make room for Xavi and Garnacho. Nkunku has been discussed as option with Leipzig, same as Tyree George. We know Tyree George was dropped with an exclusive that he may head to RB Leipzig on a permanent deal. Yet to see how much that truly will end up being, but I think Chelsea just want money to go in the club at the same time they bring in Xavi Simons. So we can see the pure profit with Tyree George. We can see a profit with Nkunku headed out the door, and we'll see how much RB Leipzig drop on one of these players if they do end up going that way. On Garnacho, yeah, I think it's pretty much just once Jackson leaves, I think we go in for Garnacho, or if Jackson leaves before Nkunku does, then we go for Xavi Simons, and then obviously after that we will go in for Garnacho because I'm sure Nkunku will have a suitor. But yeah, I think these deals both progress, and I do think Garnacho does become a Chelsea player in this window. And Fabrizio even said that. Alejandro Garnacho posted on Instagram today with the time, and Fabrizio said Alejandro Garnacho patiently waiting for his move to Chelsea to happen later in the window. It pretty much seems like it's bound to happen. It's just it's not a question of if, it's just a question of when, and I do think it happens sometime later in this window. I think late August is when we can expect Garnacho to become a Chelsea player after 2 match days or 3 match days in the Prem. I think that's when we'll see the here we go finally for the player. Not excited for it, to be honest. Not really going to be thrilled when the here we go does come. But I will back him when he does step foot into column, because at the end of the day he wants Chelsea and only Chelsea. So not going to fault a player that has Chelsea set on his heart. So yeah, I do hope he succeeds here, but I just don't really see it happening. But at the end of the day, it could. So yeah, we'll see if Garnacho does move to Chelsea, but I do think it's a matter of when, just not a matter of if. And Garnacho will pretty much eventually just become a Chelsea player, regardless of whether or not we like it or not. Moving on to Nicholas Jackson. On August 8th, Karen Gill said that Nicholas Jackson left out of tonight's squad and has told the club he wants to move away. So that was the first inclination that, Jackson's the one initiating the move away. We know that the club would be open to selling him for the right price, and Jackson said he wanted to stay and fight. But now it seems like it's over between the club and the player. He wants to move away, and the club is actively looking to ship him off. And then the Guardian said that Chelsea had valued Nicholas Jackson at £80 million, but are likely to accept a reduced fee of around £65 million, which, again, pretty funny because that is Newcastle's exact valuation for the player. So maybe there is something there between Chelsea and Newcastle that's being negotiated. And yeah, I do think we'll be able to sell Nicholas Jackson for £65 million and maybe even get it up to 70 if we wanted to. Yeah, we'll see, what teams do come in for Nicholas Jackson. I'd be really intrigued. I do think he does stay in the Premier League, and I think Newcastle is the most likely option. If Tottenham sell Richarlison, then maybe we could see him head over to Tottenham, but I do think he does end up at Newcastle, to be honest. I think that is his most likely destination. And there's more. The Telegraph said that Nicholas Jackson favors a move to Newcastle if he is to move this window. However, the forward's chances of securing the transfer largely appear dependent on whether Newcastle relent and sell Alexander Isak to Liverpool, which I think they will. I do think they'll give in. I think they'll say, hey, we're open to selling him. Liverpool come in, bid 125, 130, and then Alexander Isak heads to Liverpool, and then Newcastle do come in for Nicholas Jackson. I think that's the way it will go. But yeah, I do think Nicholas Jackson would like a move to Newcastle. I do think that's the best option for his career and his development. Maybe he becomes a little bit of a baby Isak, even though he's around similar age to him. Maybe he develops in a similar pathway at Newcastle. It's yet to be seen, but I do think it is something that is possible if he's just given the right amount of game time with the right armor on his shoulder, and finds a way to strike the ball properly, which can't really be taught at this level of football anymore. But we'll see. I do think he has loads of potential in him. So, again, Nicholas Jackson could become a very good player at Newcastle if he does move over there. It's just, how long that will take to kick in. And also if he does become a Newcastle player, because maybe someone else does come in for Nicholas Jackson. Moving on to Chelsea's new centre half signing. Enzo Maresca, after the Leverkusen game on Friday, said that for him it's a priority to get a new center half. You'll see if we go for it. Apparently this was misconstrued in it. He said that he was just looking for a solution, a new center back to be in the fold. So even someone that may be at the club, it's not a new center half. So yeah, this is what Mike McGrath said. He said Enzo Maresca revealed Chelsea are trying also to find different solutions, which is what was said instead of this. He said he was trying to find new solutions, which also consisted of players within the club. But while Guehi is admired at Stamford Bridge after starting his career at the club, his return is currently not on the agenda, basically saying Mark Guehi is not a center half target for Chelsea. It's yet to be seen whether or not Chelsea will be going in for a center half. The last we've heard is that they aren't, but then, maybe that's just Chelsea trying not to look desperate, and then again, securing a center half move out of nowhere. I'm hoping for Alexandre Ribeiro to be our center half signing. I think he's someone. It's very similar to Levi Cole in the way he plays, so I think that would be a good plug and play guy. But yet to be seen, and yet to see. Excuse me. Yet to be seen if we do go in for a center half the rest of the summer. And something else that was important, Maresca to Channel 5 Sport after the AC Milan match, which was today, said that Wesley Fofana could be available for Crystal Palace, and we are very happy because he is a very important player. Travis Fine, he decided to come off because it was too hot, and then he left. So yeah, Wesley Fofana is back, so maybe that limits the need for a center half just slightly. You know, I don't expect Fofana to start against Crystal Palace, to be honest. I expect him to come off the bench, but if he is able to play a couple games for Chelsea this season, I do think that is a very high ceiling raiser. You know, the amount of games he's fit definitely raises our chances of winning. I think that's a main reason we were able to kick on early in the season was because of how good Wesley Fofana was. Even if he didn't get credited for it, I do think he was very good. Um, but yeah, it seems like he could be available for Crystal Palace. I don't expect him to start, but maybe he comes off the bench and plays a role there. But just worth noting that there is a center half coming back at Chelsea, so maybe it isn't as much of a demand as we may anticipate. Um, but Fabrizio on his Here We Go podcast said that Chelsea could sign a defender in case of a good opportunity on the market. We have to keep an eye on it with Enzo Maresca pushing, basically saying that Enzo Maresca does want a new defender after Levi Cole did have surgery to his ACL after getting injured in the first training session back on Monday, back from holiday. So yeah, we'll see if Chelsea do sign a new defender. If there's an opportunity that arises, Chelsea are going to more than likely pounce on it. You know, I'm sad about the Levi Cole injury. I have his jersey for this season actually, so I feel a little bit cursed. I bought the Levi Cole Premier League jersey, and he decided to get hurt, and probably won't play in the Premier League this season. So, I wish him all the best in his recovery. I think the only positive note from the Levi Cole injury is that it happened when there's still pretty much an entire month left on the transfer window, so Chelsea can look to evaluate the squad and see if we do need a new center half. But other than that, I'm absolutely gutted for Levi Cole. And this wouldn't have been a problem at all if he didn't. I don't know if he tore his ACL or just had something wrong with the ACL and needed surgery on it, but yeah, it's just really gutting. And now it's going to make us spend some money because we do inevitably need a new center half because there's nothing that replaces Levi Cole in his importance to the team, especially with the amount or the people that we have in our squad right now. Moving on though, or not moving on, excuse me. This is another center half, but they're actually leaving Chelsea, not coming to Chelsea. Chelsea consider Renato Vega for sale even after the Levi Cole injury, and Vega wants a new chapter. Talks to advance in the next days with several clubs clean after the Atletico Madrid deal was off. So, a lot of people were like, hey, maybe the Levi Cole injury can be subsided by bringing Renato Vega back in the fold. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the answer because it does seem like Renato Vega does want a move at the club, and I do think that is bound to happen at some point soon. I do expect someone to come in for him, and it's a pretty quick deal because they know the price tag, £35 million, and then Renato Vega will be out the door. But it doesn't seem like he will stay and play that left center back role, which he was demanding to play at Chelsea last season. I feel like a little bit of a missed opportunity there, but whatever. It seems like clubs have burnt bridges, and it seems like Renato Vega is moving on. So, we'll see where he does end up going. Other than that, we have our last talking point of the video, and that is that Chelsea are advancing on a new contract to Marco Cucurella. Well deserved, really, really top player for us, even good in the friendly games. Doesn't treat a friendly like a friendly, but yeah, really, really good player for us. Standout player of the season last season, I'd say for us. Obviously, Caicedo won player of the season, but I thought Cucurella could have won player of the season as well, just himself. I think it was a 1A, 1B situation between Caicedo and Cucurella. I think Caicedo did deserve to win it, but I do think Cucurella deserved a good shout. So it's good to see that we're rewarding him with a new contract. And yeah, that is everything. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Maybe there will be a news video out tomorrow. I am doing a collab with someone tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Think it's going to be over on his channel, but yeah, stay tuned for that. Going to be really exciting. Again, if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, it's Repulse, and I'm out. Peace.